Hello everyone. Today we'll talk about the profiling the 4-hour chart, and today we'll cover the topics of timings, what times you should look inside the hourly H4 candle, key levels that we are going to pay attention to, models that we are going to use, and again in the last we will blend daily profiles while profiling the 4-hour chart. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first of all, we have to pay attention to the times when that H4 candle starts, right? For the future, there's 2 a.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m., or the Asia sessions 4-hour candles that we are not paying attention to. Just these three candles we are going to pay attention to. What the previous candle does, which is a trigger for the next candle, for either a reversal or a continuation, right? For forex, we are going to pay attention to 1 a.m., 5 a.m., and 9 a.m. candles, uh, and pay attention to what the previous candle did to frame the next candle as a continuation or a reversal. Okay, let's talk about futures. So the 2 a.m. candles represents the London session, right? It can either be a reversal or a continuation based on what Asia session did, right? 6 a.m. Is representing the New York session, right? It can either be a reversal or a continuation. Same as 10 a.m. represents the New York session, can be a reversal or a continuation, right? Same with forex. 1 a.m. candle typically represents the London session, which can either be a reversal or a continuation. 5 a.m. represents New York. 9 a.m. represents also the New York session. That can either be a reversal or a continuation, right? So these are the few things that you should pay attention to, and the behavior of previous H4 candle, what it does, or it is a trigger for the next candle to either be a continuation or just a manipulation. Okay, so if these Asia session candles like 18 and 22, like I think it's 6 p.m. candle, if it manipulates, then we can uh, frame a 2 a.m. continuation profile if there is a draw, right? If these two candles consolidates, then we can assume that 2 a.m. is going to be a manipulation, right? So we can further trade the 6 a.m. candle as a continuation expansion candle to the draw. Same as 6 a.m. we are going to pay attention to what 6 a.m. candle does. Either if it manipulates, then we are going to frame the 10 a.m. continuation profile. If the 10 a.m. candle manipulates, typically I don't trade the PM session, but yeah, you can expect this 2 p.m. candle as a continuation towards the draw if 10 a.m. reverses or manipulates, right? Same inside the forex chart, right? The candles are different, but the logic is same as always. These two represents the Asia session, right? So if they manipulate, then I will consider 1 a.m. to be a continuation. If these two candles consolidates, then I want 1 a.m. to what? To give me that reversal, to give me that manipulation, to frame the 5 a.m. continuation. Same as that, if 5 a.m. candle manipulates, then I want the 9 a.m. candle to be a continuation. You can see uh, these previous candles are the trigger for the next candle that what can expect from it, right? So yeah, so it's a pretty not there. So I always pay attention to the last 2 hours of the 6 a.m. candle if I'm talking about the futures, right? 8 and 9, because as they are high probability in terms of price actions and volatility, right? And I also just focus on the first 2 hours of the 10 a.m. candle, yeah, as they are high probability to frame a trade and to trade a continuation. And the last 2 hours doesn't matter as much, right? You're not going to get much opportunities inside 12 and 1 p.m. You are going to get those opportunities of a continuation or either reversal within these first 2 hours. Same as forex. um, for the 5 a.m. candle, I look for only 7 and 8 a.m. candle inside that 5 a.m. 4-hour candle, and inside this 9 a.m. candle, I only look at these 2 hours to frame a trade. Anything past that is none of my concern. I don't trade that, and yeah, I don't expect that at all. Now we're going to talk about the key levels that we are going to use to frame that 4-hour profiling, right? So the first of all is fair value gaps. We will use fair value gaps to frame that 4-hour profile, right? Order blocks. We'll use these order blocks to frame that 4-hour profile that we just learned about, the timings, what we can expect from the previous candle is a trigger for the next candle to be like, in this case it's a continuation, right? Yeah, so we'll use order blocks, fair value gaps, and swing points, right? Or swing high and lows, right? So these highs and lows, we'll use them as the key levels for that, profiling that for our chart, right, towards the draw. Let's talk about the models that we are going to use. The first one is IRL to ERL. We are trading off of a fair value gap, internal range liquidity, towards the external range liquidity, right? So this is the universal model that we are going to trade. The second one is ERL to IRL. And this one, we are trading away from that ERL, right? After taking that out, we are trading back into the range towards that IRL or a fair value gap, right? Third model where we are going to use, it's ERL to ERL. We are trading away from a swing low to trade towards that swing high, right? So yeah, it's you can say it's a consolidation that we're pairing regions, right? From trading away from that range low towards that range high. Now we are going to blend those daily profiles. The first one is Asia as your low and high of the day, right? So these are the schematics of the 4-hour chart. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. Yeah, so I typically only trade 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. candle, right? Either can be a reversal or a continuation. So in this case, we are trading IRL to ERL, the model that we are using, trading away from that fair value gap towards external range liquidity. So in this case, Asia made the low of the day. Why? Because this is the high probability area where we can make the low and high of the day. The low and high of the daily candle will always be inside a key level, so always pay attention to those, right? So you want to pay attention towards this fair value gap. We wanted the low of that day to be made inside this fair value gap, and now pretty much these 3 candles resulted as a continuation towards the draw. So you can either trade the 6 a.m. continuation, 10 a.m. continuation towards the draw, and yeah, this represents the daily candle of over of this price action. London reversal again. In this case, we are trading away from that external range liquidity, back inside the range towards the IRL, right? So in this case, London made the high of the day, and we are trading away from that swing point, 6 a.m., 10 a.m. continuation towards the IRL, right? In this case, London made the high of the day. Why? Because it takes the important key level or relevant high, right? So external range liquidity towards the internal range liquidity resulted as New York continuation, right? And the third and last one is the New York reversal profile. In this one, we can clearly see we are in a range, right? So we are trading the ERL to ERL logic, right? And this trade, in this example, London, New York made the low of the day, right? And pretty much Asia and London, we are just trading towards that key level that where we can make a low of the day potentially, right? But we failed to do so. So this 6 a.m. candle, which represents the New York session, typically trades into that, and we are trading away from that level, resulted as 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. as a continuation towards the range high, right? So yeah, our pairing range is planned with New York reversal profile, right? 6 a.m. having that reversal and then continuation towards the draw. And there is one more profile that I want to talk about, but it's just also resulted as a New York reversal profile. But there is one that the New York manipulation profile. In this one, it's similar to this, but in that one, in New York manipulation profile, London typically consolidates, and we typically make high and low of the day on the 9:30 open, right? So where London consolidated and 9:30 just takes out those consolidation lows, and we are trade away from that level, right? So that profile is New York manipulation, similar to this, but yeah, a little bit different as well. So yeah, these were the PDFs. I hope these were helpful.